Every choice we make in life carries weight, more than most people truly realize. From the moment we wake up to the moment we go to sleep, we are making decisions, some small and seemingly inconsequential, like what to eat or wear, and some monumental, like who we allow into our lives, what career path we pursue, or how we respond to opportunities and challenges. These decisions are not isolated events, they ripple out into our lives, shaping our experiences, our relationships, our financial situations, and even our sense of self. When someone chooses wrongly, it is a reflection of their understanding, their values, and their priorities at that moment. Often, people do not see the consequences immediately, and the lessons of their poor choices may take time to manifest. That delay can create a false sense of security, a sense that nothing has really changed, that the consequences are somehow avoidable or distant, but life has a way of balancing itself, and the energy and intention behind each decision inevitably return to the source. It is essential to recognize that we cannot control the choices of others. We can only control our own responses to them. When someone chooses wrongly in a relationship, a partnership, or a significant interaction, it is not your responsibility to fix it or to chase them to repair what they have damaged or lost. The law of cause and effect is impartial. Their choice, whether rooted in ignorance, selfishness, or fear, sets in motion a chain of events that will eventually confront them with the truth of their decision. You must understand that choices are a reflection of internal alignment. When someone chooses wrongly, it often indicates a misalignment between their current state and the values, principles, or growth they are capable of. It does not diminish your worth or your integrity. It simply shows that they were not ready, willing, or able to meet the energy you bring into a connection. Holding on to resentment, trying to convince them of what they have lost, or attempting to change their path only diminishes your power and delays the natural unfolding of consequences. The beauty of this process is that life itself becomes the teacher. Every decision carries its own lesson, and those lessons are best learned through experience, through feeling the consequences of a choice firsthand. You may watch someone walk away, make a mistake, or pursue the wrong path, and it can feel frustrating, even painful. Yet, that very frustration is a signal for you to recognize your own sovereignty and to trust in the process of life's natural order. Your own focus, your own growth, and your ability to hold your standards become the measures of your strength and wisdom. When you understand that the weight of someone else's choice is theirs alone to bear, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering, from the urge to manipulate outcomes or to seek validation through their return. Every choice is like a seed planted in the fertile soil of life. Some bloom immediately, others take years to germinate, and some never bear fruit at all. But every seed will reveal its nature, and the results will always reflect the energy and intention behind it. When someone chooses wrongly, it is not a reflection of your failure or inadequacy. It is a reflection of the dissonance between their internal world and the opportunity presented to them. Recognizing this allows you to release the need for control, to step back, and to allow the natural unfolding of events to teach the lesson that words alone could never convey. Your role is not to rescue or to correct. Your role is to embody clarity, strength, and self-respect. By doing so, you honor your own life and allow them to confront the truth of their choice without interference. In this way, the power of choice becomes a mirror. The decisions others make show them who they truly are and what they truly value, while simultaneously allowing you to observe, reflect, and grow in alignment with your own highest principles. When you internalize this understanding, the concept of wrong choices loses its sting for you, because you recognize that life has an inherent balance, a natural order, and that each action sets the stage for the lessons that must be learned. You also begin to see that clinging to disappointment, resentment, or the desire to correct someone else's path only limits your potential and obscures your own clarity. Instead, you can focus on your own trajectory, your own growth, and your own ability to cultivate experiences, relationships, and opportunities that are aligned with your energy, your values, and your purpose. Choices, whether right or wrong, illuminate truth. They reveal character, priorities, and the alignment or misalignment of hearts and minds. By observing the consequences of a wrong choice, you gain insight not only into the nature of the other person, but also into the importance of your own standards, your own boundaries, and your commitment to living intentionally. When someone walks away or makes a decision that undermines what you represent, it is a gift in disguise. It is an opportunity to deepen your understanding of cause and effect, to witness firsthand the principle that energy always returns to its source, and to strengthen your commitment to yourself and your life path. You begin to recognize that life's most profound lessons are rarely delivered through lectures or advice. They are delivered through the lived experiences of choices, actions, and consequences. The more you can observe without attachment, without trying to fix, and without compromising your own integrity, the more powerful you become. The power of choice is not just about making decisions. It is about understanding that every decision carries a consequence, that every choice is an expression of inner alignment, and that when someone chooses wrongly, it is their journey, their lesson, and their responsibility to face the reality they have created. Regret is one of the most powerful forces in human experience, and yet so few people understand how to use it as a tool for growth rather than a weight to carry. When someone makes a wrong choice, regret is the inevitable companion that follows them. It arrives quietly at first, a subtle whisper of discomfort or a gentle pang of doubt. But over time it grows, becoming more insistent, more unavoidable, until it demands attention and acknowledgement. Regret is not something to fear or resent. It is the universe's way of teaching accountability and clarity. Every decision that leads to regret is an opportunity to see the consequences of actions without excuses, without distractions, and without delay. It forces a person to confront the reality of their choices, to examine the discrepancy between their intentions and the outcomes, and to realize the value of what they lost because of their own misjudgment or lack of foresight. When someone chooses wrong, regret becomes their mirror, reflecting back the truth they may have avoided or ignored. It shows them the gap between what they wanted and what they allowed to slip through their fingers. Regret has a way of penetrating denial, cutting through rationalizations, and stripping away the stories people tell themselves to feel justified or comfortable in their choices. It lays bare the consequences of negligence, indecision, or selfishness, and in doing so, it awakens a deeper awareness of personal responsibility. Many people try to escape regret, to numb it with distractions, excuses, or attempts to manipulate outcomes after the fact, but this only prolongs the inevitable. The lesson that regret carries cannot be outsourced, ignored, or hurried. It must be experienced fully for the individual to truly understand the significance of their choice. In a relationship, a business decision, or any meaningful interaction, regret is often the force that finally brings clarity. It highlights the value of what was lost, the potential that was missed, and the opportunities that were discarded. While it may feel painful or uncomfortable in the moment, regret has a constructive purpose. It compels reflection, introspection, and ultimately transformation. Those who try to avoid it only delay the learning that is essential for growth. By allowing someone to face the consequences of their wrong choices, we give them the space to experience regret in its purest form. It is in that raw, unfiltered recognition that the lessons become permanent and undeniable. Regret cannot be rushed. It cannot be taught through words alone. It must be lived, felt, and internalized. People often do not recognize the value of regret until it is paired with absence, loss, or the understanding that some opportunities are gone forever. This is why detachment in the face of another's wrong choice is so crucial. By stepping back and refusing to intervene to fix the consequences of their decision, you allow regret to fulfill its role as the ultimate teacher. It demonstrates the cost of misalignment between desires and actions, intentions and execution, or love and commitment. Regret sharpens perception and cultivates discernment. It trains the mind to recognize patterns, to understand the consequences of poor choices, and to weigh the importance of integrity and alignment in future decisions. People who experience regret deeply often emerge wiser, more conscious, and more deliberate in their actions because they have faced the undeniable reality of loss and learned to value what truly matters. Moreover, regret serves as a natural mechanism for accountability. It is a reminder that choices cannot be made lightly, that actions have consequences, and that life responds to our decisions with unwavering precision. By letting regret do its work, you allow the individual to take full responsibility for their actions without interference, rescue, or excuse. In this way, regret becomes a catalyst for self-realization. It is not meant to punish, it is meant to illuminate. It brings into focus the lessons that mere advice, warning, or persuasion could never convey with the same intensity or clarity. When someone is confronted by regret, they begin to understand the power of their own choices, the value of those they have lost, and the significance of acting with alignment and consciousness in the future. It sharpens the awareness of what truly matters, what is worth fighting for, and what cannot be taken for granted. Regret teaches humility, patience, and discernment, and it has the remarkable ability to transform despair into insight, pain into wisdom, and absence into clarity. Those who embrace regret as a teacher grow in emotional intelligence and resilience, recognizing that every wrong choice carries a lesson waiting to be learned. By allowing someone to experience regret fully, you empower them to confront their mistakes and to internalize the consequences of their actions, which is far more effective than attempting to correct them yourself or seeking closure prematurely. Regret is the force that strips away illusions, exposes truth, and highlights the discrepancy between who a person is and who they could have been. And it is in this crucible of reflection and realization that genuine growth begins. Self-worth is the foundation upon which every meaningful relationship, decision, and life choice is built, and yet so many people allow themselves to be diminished, overlooked, or devalued because they fail to recognize their own intrinsic value. Understanding your own worth is not about arrogance or superiority. It is about clarity, alignment, and the unwavering recognition that you are deserving of respect, love, and honor in all areas of life. When someone chooses wrongly, whether in a relationship, a business partnership, or a personal commitment, it is not a reflection of your inadequacy or your value. Their choice is a mirror of their own priorities, understanding, and readiness. One of the most profound lessons you can learn in life is that your self-worth is non-negotiable, and it must never be compromised to accommodate someone else's poor decision or inability to appreciate the energy, love, or effort you bring into a connection. Too often, people chase after those who have chosen wrong, believing that persistence, pleading, or manipulation can reverse a decision, and in doing so, they inadvertently send the message that their value is contingent upon the approval or recognition of others. True empowerment lies in recognizing that your worth is inherent, that it is not granted or validated by external forces, and that you have the right to honor yourself by stepping back when someone makes a choice that undermines your integrity or diminishes your energy. Setting boundaries becomes an essential expression of self-worth. Boundaries are not walls of separation, they are declarations of clarity, respect, and self-preservation. By establishing and maintaining boundaries, you communicate to the world that you understand your value and that you will not tolerate decisions, behaviors, or attitudes that compromise your dignity. This is particularly important when someone chooses wrongly because it allows you to detach emotionally while remaining fully aligned with your standards and principles. It is a common misconception that demonstrating love, loyalty, or commitment requires compromising one's worth to retain someone who has made the wrong choice. In reality, the most powerful demonstration of value is to maintain self-respect, to refuse to negotiate your integrity, and to allow the natural consequences of their decisions to unfold. By doing so, you create a space where true understanding, recognition, and eventual reconciliation, if it occurs, can happen authentically rather than out of desperation or neediness. Self-worth also influences the energy you emit and the opportunities you attract. When you walk with confidence in your value, you naturally draw people, circumstances, and experiences that align with your standards. Conversely, chasing those who have chosen wrongly disrupts this alignment, lowers your energy, and sends mixed signals to the universe, creating confusion and misalignment in your own life path. By holding steadfastly to your self-worth, you not only honor yourself, but also create the conditions for the universe to deliver relationships, opportunities, and experiences that are in harmony with your energy, integrity, and potential. Moreover, understanding self-worth allows you to navigate the complexities of human behavior with wisdom and patience. You begin to see that when someone chooses wrongly, it is a reflection of their journey, their readiness, and their internal alignment, not a commentary on your value. This perspective empowers you to respond with clarity rather than emotion, to step back rather than chase, and to let life's natural course illuminate the lessons and consequences that must unfold. It cultivates resilience, self-respect, and an unshakable confidence that your energy and contribution are meaningful, worthy, and deserving of reciprocation. People who truly understand their self-worth also recognize the importance of timing and consequence. They know that attempting to force someone's recognition or appreciation is both futile and counterproductive. Instead, they allow the natural repercussions of poor choices to reveal themselves, trusting that clarity, regret, or understanding will emerge in due time. This approach is neither passive nor reactive. It is deliberate, conscious, and aligned with the principles of integrity and self-respect. By maintaining your self-worth, you also create a model for others, whether it is a partner, friend, or colleague, demonstrating the value of respect, accountability, and conscious choice. You show that relationships and opportunities are mutual exchanges of energy, effort, and alignment, and that when someone chooses wrong, it is not your responsibility to rescue or persuade them. Your responsibility is to honor your value, uphold your standards, and remain aligned with the life, energy, and experiences you deserve. This understanding of self-worth becomes a guiding compass in moments of disappointment, frustration, or betrayal. It allows you to navigate the complexities of human choice with clarity, patience, and a deep sense of personal power. You learn to distinguish between what is yours to influence and what is beyond your control. And in doing so, you cultivate a life that is rich in integrity, alignment, and respect for both yourself and the natural course of consequences. The more you embrace this truth, the less you are swayed by the whims or mistakes of others, and the more you become a living example of strength, patience, and the unwavering power of self-respect. Energy is the invisible force that shapes every interaction, every relationship, and every outcome in life, yet so many people underestimate its power and influence. Everything we do emits energy, whether it is positive, negative, or neutral, and that energy travels into the world, influencing the people and circumstances we encounter. When someone chooses wrongly, it is often because their energy is misaligned with the path they are on, the values they claim to hold, or the opportunities that have presented themselves. The choices people make are rarely isolated from their emotional, mental, and spiritual state, and understanding this allows you to see that their decisions are a reflection of their internal energy rather than a reflection of your worth or your contribution. By maintaining your own positive and aligned energy, you assert your power without confrontation, without manipulation, and without desperation. Energy is contagious, and when you hold your vibration high, you naturally attract people, situations, and outcomes that resonate with your frequency. Conversely, chasing someone who has made the wrong choice not only drains your energy but also distorts your vibration, creating a field of imbalance that attracts confusion, disappointment, and frustration rather than the clarity and alignment you seek. The law of attraction operates with precision, responding not to what we want to force into reality, but to the energy we emit consistently. By walking away from someone who has chosen wrongly, you do not act out of vengeance or bitterness, you act out of alignment with your highest self and your own energy, allowing the universe to orchestrate the consequences naturally. This is a profound exercise in patience, trust, and understanding the invisible forces that govern the flow of life. Every relationship, partnership, and connection is influenced by the energy that both parties bring into it. When someone makes a wrong choice, they are often operating from fear, misunderstanding, ego, or immaturity, and those energetic misalignments prevent them from fully appreciating or honoring what they have. Attempting to fix, convince, or reclaim them only compromises your energy, diluting your focus and power, and creating a tension that is ultimately counterproductive. By maintaining your energy, by holding your space and refusing to compromise your vibration for the sake of someone else's indecision or mistakes, you demonstrate an unshakable strength that is far more impactful than words, persuasion, or emotional appeals. Energy is also cumulative. Every interaction, every gesture, every thought, and every emotion contributes to the energetic field we carry with us. If you allow frustration, resentment, or attachment to govern your actions, you are not only depleting your energy, but also inviting patterns of chaos and imbalance into your life. In contrast, when you focus on cultivating positive energy, clarity, and alignment, you are simultaneously creating a protective field that shields you from the negative consequences of other people's choices and empowers you to attract experiences and individuals that match your vibration. Understanding energy also teaches you the importance of timing and natural consequence. When someone chooses wrongly, no amount of pleading, chasing, or manipulation can correct the misalignment. The universe operates on principles of balance and cause and effect, and the energy a person emits will eventually bring them face to face with the reality of their decisions. By remaining steadfast in your energy, you allow the natural process of consequence and realization to unfold without interference, which often leads to a more profound, lasting understanding for the person who erred than any external intervention ever could. Energy is a silent but potent communicator. It conveys integrity, strength, and self-respect without the need for explanation or justification. People feel energy before they hear words they respond to, or vibration before they respond to logic. By refusing to compromise your energy for someone who has chosen wrongly, you send a message that transcends arguments, excuses, or persuasion. You demonstrate the value of alignment, the cost of misalignment, and the power of consequence. Furthermore, cultivating awareness of energy allows you to discern who belongs in your life and who does not through judgment, but through resonance. When you operate from a place of high energy, clarity, and self-alignment, the people, opportunities, and circumstances that are meant to be in your life naturally gravitate toward you, while those that are misaligned drift away. This is not about punishment or revenge. It is about honoring the natural flow of life and recognizing that energy cannot be forced, only aligned. Holding your energy in the face of someone else's wrong choice becomes an act of empowerment, patience, and wisdom. It is a demonstration of your ability to stand firm in your own vibration, to trust the process of life, and to understand that the consequences of poor choices are best delivered by life itself rather than by your intervention. Energy teaches that presence, patience, and alignment speak louder than attempts to control, manipulate, or rescue. It reveals that the strength of your life is measured not by how much you can bend to accommodate others, but by how consistently you maintain your frequency, your clarity, and your commitment to your own path. When someone experiences the full impact of their misalignment and the consequences of their choices, they cannot escape the lesson, and your energy remains intact, untainted, and powerful. A living testimony to the principle that alignment always precedes manifestation, and that true power lies in the ability to hold one's energy steady and unwavering. Patience is one of the most underestimated virtues in life. Yet, it is also one of the most powerful tools for personal growth, empowerment, and the cultivation of success. It is often said that time reveals all truths, and nowhere is this more evident than in the realm of human choice and consequence. When someone makes the wrong decision, whether in a relationship, a partnership, or a significant life opportunity, it can be tempting to intervene, to plead, or to attempt to reverse the course of events. The natural impulse is to act immediately, to try to correct what has gone wrong, or to convince someone to recognize their error before the consequences fully unfold. Yet, true wisdom lies in understanding that patience is not passive. It is an active, conscious choice to allow life to operate according to its natural principles. Timing is an invisible force that governs outcomes, and rushing it rarely produces the clarity, understanding, or transformation that is required. When someone experiences the consequences of a poor choice, they must be allowed to encounter the reality of their actions fully. Only then can true insight, self-awareness, and growth occur. Attempts to accelerate the process through manipulation, persuasion, or intervention often distort the lesson and rob the individual of the depth of realization they are capable of attaining. Patience allows the natural process of cause and effect to unfold without interference, which often leads to more profound and lasting transformation. It is the understanding that life has its own rhythm and timing, and that forcing outcomes rarely produces alignment with truth. This principle applies not only to others but also to ourselves. When someone chooses wrong in relation to us, whether through neglect, betrayal, or misjudgment, patience ensures that we do not react impulsively, compromise our standards, or dilute our energy in an attempt to control a situation beyond our influence. By cultivating patience, we maintain clarity, preserve our integrity, and create the space for life to teach lessons in the way that is most effective and transformative. Patience is closely tied to trust in ourselves, trust in the natural order of life, and trust in the power of consequences. It is the recognition that every choice carries a weight, and that every action brings with it a set of results that cannot be hurried without distortion. When someone has chosen wrongly, allowing them to experience the consequences without interference is a demonstration of respect for the laws of life, the principle of accountability, and the inherent wisdom that comes from lived experience. Moreover, patience allows us to preserve our emotional and mental energy. When we react impulsively to the mistakes or poor decisions of others, we often expend tremendous energy on situations that are beyond our control. This energy drain can cloud judgment, increase frustration, and even interfere with our own growth and progress. By practicing patience, we conserve our energy, maintain alignment with our highest principles, and allow the natural flow of events to produce clarity, insight, and eventual reconciliation if it is meant to occur. Patience is also a reflection of self-respect and self-discipline. It demonstrates that we are not willing to compromise our integrity, chase validation, or manipulate outcomes to satisfy temporary desires or impulses. It shows that we value our own alignment, standards, and personal growth above the fleeting need to correct someone else's misstep. In doing so, we set a powerful example of strength, wisdom, and discernment, demonstrating that true power lies not in control, but in the ability to wait, observe, and respond from a place of clarity rather than emotion. Timing and patience are often the differentiators between temporary lessons and lifelong transformation. Many people fail to see the depth of regret or realization in those who have chosen wrongly because they have interfered prematurely, offered explanations, or attempted to fix the situation before it was ready to be fully understood. Patience allows the natural progression of insight, consequence, and learning, giving the individual the space to fully internalize their experience. It teaches humility, introspection, and the value of aligning actions with intention. When we exercise patience in the face of another's wrong choice, we are not passive observers. We are consciously participating in the natural order of life. We are choosing to allow the consequences of decisions to speak for themselves, knowing that they carry a far more powerful lesson than any argument, explanation, or attempt at correction could deliver. Furthermore, patience cultivates a deep sense of inner peace and confidence. By trusting that life will deliver understanding and clarity in its own time, we free ourselves from unnecessary anxiety, frustration, or attachment. This inner peace is a reflection of strength, wisdom, and alignment with our own values, and it ensures that our energy remains intact and focused on our growth, rather than being dissipated on trying to manage the choices or awareness of others. Patience allows us to observe the unfolding of events with discernment, to learn from the patterns of behavior, and to recognize when it is appropriate to act, when it is appropriate to step back, and when it is necessary to simply allow life to take its course. It teaches the value of timing, the importance of consequences, and the strength that comes from maintaining alignment with truth and integrity. When we exercise patience, we allow the natural rhythm of cause and effect to operate unhindered, ensuring that lessons are learned deeply, wisdom is gained authentically, and growth occurs in a way that is enduring, meaningful, and aligned with the highest principles of life. Detachment is one of the most profound acts of personal power and wisdom, yet it is often misunderstood as indifference or coldness. True detachment is not about shutting off your heart, withdrawing from life, or refusing to care. It is about releasing the need to control, manipulate, or dictate outcomes that are not yours to control. It is about recognizing the distinction between what belongs to you and what belongs to someone else, between your responsibility and theirs, and between influence and interference. When someone chooses wrongly, detachment becomes an essential tool for maintaining clarity, integrity, and self-respect. It allows you to step back from the emotional entanglement that can arise when you are deeply invested in the decisions, mistakes, or misalignment of others. By detaching, you create space for them to face the full consequences of their actions without compromising your energy or compromising the lessons that life is seeking to teach. Detachment is not passive, it is an active choice, a conscious decision to uphold your standards and maintain alignment with your highest principles while allowing life's natural processes to unfold. It is a demonstration of strength, patience, and wisdom, because it requires the courage to release the need for immediate resolution, validation, or control. Many people fear detachment because it feels uncomfortable, as though letting go might mean losing influence or the possibility of reconciliation. Yet, detachment is the very thing that allows someone who has chosen wrongly to encounter clarity, to confront the truth of their decisions, and to experience the reality they have created without external interference. When we intervene prematurely, when we plead, explain, or manipulate outcomes, we disrupt the natural course of cause and effect. And in doing so, we dilute the power of consequence and the depth of the lessons being learned. Detachment preserves both your energy and your integrity, ensuring that you remain aligned with your values while allowing others to take full responsibility for their choices. It is a recognition that life operates according to immutable principles, that every action carries a reaction, and that no one can escape the consequences of their own decisions. By holding this perspective, you release the emotional burden of trying to control what is not yours, and you place your trust in the process of life, the intelligence of consequence, and the natural unfolding of events. Detachment also cultivates resilience, strength, and clarity. When you refuse to be drawn into the chaos, regret, or poor choices of others, you maintain a sense of balance, perspective, and emotional stability. You understand that their journey is theirs alone, that their mistakes are their lessons, and that attempting to carry the weight of their choices only diminishes your own energy and clarity. In practicing detachment, you model an essential principle of life, that empowerment does not come from chasing or controlling, but from alignment, integrity, and the conscious choice to honor yourself above all else. Furthermore, detachment enhances discernment. It allows you to observe situations objectively, to recognize patterns, and to see clearly the misalignment between actions and values without being clouded by emotional attachment, fear, or the desire to fix. You become a witness to the natural order of life, understanding that consequence is the ultimate teacher and that intervention is often unnecessary, even counterproductive. The strength of detachment lies in its ability to transform potential frustration, anger, or disappointment into clarity, insight, and personal power. By stepping back, you preserve your energy, maintain your vibration, and create a space for the universe to deliver understanding, realization, and growth to those who have acted wrongly. It allows you to act from a place of choice rather than reaction, from wisdom rather than emotion, and from empowerment rather than dependence on outcomes beyond your control. Detachment also teaches patience and trust. It requires the confidence to know that the lessons of life will manifest in their own time, that clarity will emerge when the individual is ready to face the consequences of their actions, and that your role is not to rescue, manipulate, or accelerate the process. By allowing them to experience the full impact of their decisions, you honor both your own integrity and the intelligence of life's natural order. In relationships, detachment becomes an expression of self-respect, empowerment, and conscious living. It communicates, without words, that you understand your value, that you refuse to compromise your standards, and that you will not diminish your energy to accommodate someone else's misalignment. It demonstrates strength without aggression, wisdom without judgment, and patience without weakness. By maintaining detachment, you create the conditions for authentic understanding, recognition, and potential reconciliation to occur, but only if it arises naturally from awareness and alignment rather than need, fear, or manipulation. Ultimately, detachment is a demonstration of trust in yourself, trust in life, and trust in the process of consequence and growth. It allows you to maintain clarity and composure in the face of someone else's poor choice, to preserve your energy and integrity, and to create a life that is aligned with your values, your principles, and your highest potential. Detachment is not surrender, it is mastery over the need to control, and it is the ultimate expression of wisdom, strength, and self-respect. By practicing detachment, you ensure that when someone who has chosen wrongly comes to face the reality of their decision, they encounter the full weight of their actions, the clarity of consequence, and the opportunity to recognize the value of what they lost, all while you remain grounded, aligned, and empowered in your own life, unshaken by their mistakes or their timing.